The following is a paid political broadcast, paid for by Timi Hutchins for Nelson County Judge Executive. To learn more, please go to votetimhutchins.com. All right, I'm sitting in the studio this afternoon with Timi Hutchins, and Tim is seeking the office of Nelson County Judge Executive. And Tim, you were talked about a lot today on the radio.
Is that right? Was I that popular today?
Well, we talked a little bit about you. I had Candy Massaroni in.
Oh, you did? I didn't get to hear that today.
And we talked a little bit about, of course, talked about her race for 50th District Judge Executive, and then also the event last night. The Republican Party had a candidate.
Yeah, I didn't get to listen, Candy. I'll try to go back and listen to her.
Well, I'll get her posted up on Facebook this evening.
Good.
Or on YouTube.
I wish her good luck, by the way.
Well, Tim, you.
Did she have anything good to say about me on your show, Candy?
Well, I think she seems to be friendly with all the candidates.
Well, good.
She's not into dragging people through the mud.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, yeah, you were the topic of conversation early this afternoon. Pete Trzop had a political show for 30 minutes this afternoon. I don't know if it was at 1 or 1:30, but he was on for 30 minutes with Esther McCune, and they were talking politics. And you seemed to be the main topic of conversation.
Well, I got a little bit of feedback today from some people that I guess listened to the show or whatever you called it. I think somebody called me and said it was a dog and pony show. So they should have just said it was Timi Hutchins' attack show, but I don't know if that's what it was. I don't know the Mr. Trzop, I know him a little. He ran against me a couple elections, I guess 8 or 10 years ago, and I don't even know what was the lady's name. You said I don't even know who she is, I don't guess. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, she's a photographer, and she was at the event last night taking pictures of the candidates after the event up in front of the podium and the flag. But they were really making an issue just about some of your campaign materials that you've mailed out.
Yeah.
They were accusing you of being xenophobic because you made an issue, mentioned that Don Thrasher, was from California, and actually, I think the truth is, I'm not sure where he's from exactly. He really has never gone into detail about, where he was born and raised and where he went to school and those other details. But they were critical of you for even mentioning that, he'd been in California.
Xenophobic, right. That's a pretty fancy word, and I've got a lot of friends from other states, even countries, and a lot of customers moved in here from counties, states all over, and I've met with them over the years, and I think I've got a proven record that I get along with everybody. The only thing that Don told me before that, he moved here from California, it's well documented, and then he said he was raised in Missouri, and that's fine. And I told him, I said, I don't care if it's Missouri, Alaska, Hawaii, or whatever. The point I'm making is he's an outsider moving in here trying to run the county.
Right.
I don't care where it's from. It don't make a difference to me. We're trying to encourage everybody to come in and get everybody to switch parties and everybody to be Republicans. And I think most of the local Republicans have done that. I think Don has split the party, and he has pretty much torn the local party, went after many elected state and federal Republican leaders, and to say that you're a strong Republican and a constitutionalist when he didn't even start voting until 2018, that he's admitted in local elections, and he moved here about 12 years ago, he said. He's been here, ever how many years that is, 10, 12 years, and just started voting. And that's an issue with me. Now, if they don't like it, I don't think it's dirty politics at all. I've run a clean campaign. I haven't got in the mud. I could bring up tons of issues, but I have not done it. I've had some of my campaign managing staff that's wanted to do it, and I have not done that. I've run a clean, solid campaign. The only thing I put in there is the facts. No personal attacks. It's all facts. So I went back and listened to some of that, and Mr. Trzop, it was basically it was a Thrasher show, And if it was just they're in the same boat together, they support each other. They've always been very controversial and negative in anything they've been in, and that's where they run their personality in their lives, and that's fine. About everything they've been in, they've either got dismissed, thrown out, or all the different functions and different organizations that I know that Mr. Trzop has been in, that he has been removed from, just about all of them. So I'm not getting in the mud with them. They can say what they want, talk about my career, or I've got I think a distinguished career, and I'm proud of it. I do that all over again. And in my business career, he talked about my finances, and why would anybody talk about somebody else's finances? I've got several businesses I've had over the years. I've had hundreds of loans on developments and houses and stores and remodels, and for him to get in my finances and act like I'm not paying my notes, he's, he don't know the whole story. So anybody would get into that. That's what I call dirty, negative campaigning. And that's why Don didn't come on the show, because I guess he can say Trzop did it, so he's not doing a negative campaign. But they're in bed together, and that's just a fact. So that's fine. I'm not going to get that low. I've got a track record, a strong magistrate for 17 years, a good businessman, and anyone that, especially those two. And you know what they say, Jim, desperate people do desperate things when they get desperate.
Right.
And I think that's the point where they are in their campaign. And, the Nelson County voters are not stupid. The Republican voters are not stupid. And they want a unified Republican Party. They want us to get in there and clean this county up, bring in some conservative values. And when you get in here and start talking about people's personalities and personal lives and all that, it's just crazy. I haven't been as successful as I have been by alienating. I'm sure I've got a record that, as a public official for 17 years, and as much as I've been involved in, I've stepped on a few toes here or there, and I'm sure there's been some people upset about a few things in their life, but you always try to correct those. But I'm proud of what I've done, and I'm not getting in the mud with these two guys at all. And I think even at the end, I try to go back and play it. He's talking about bribery, and he's a federal agent and all this stuff, and I try to bribe him, and then I offered him free chicken for life. I mean, really, it's laughable. It's laughable. I'm going to give somebody free broaster chicken to get out of a race. You're laughing now. It's laughable. So these good, solid Republican voters out there, I would think they got more sense than that, and I know they do. I've talked to people all over the county, and that's like I say, the Republican voters in this county, they don't like to listen to this stuff. And it's like old Trump said. He said, fake news. So that's what I call it. Fake news.
All right.
So let's move on. I don't really want to get talking about them, because I let them run their own race, and I just do not even get in the mud with them. And I still wish everybody good luck in life. I don't hold grudge against anybody, because life's too short. So hopefully they'll have a better, prosperous life when all this is done.
All right, Tim. Well, you've candidates have talked a lot about taxes, and I know you have too. And of course, we all pay taxes, and many of us, don't like how high our taxes are. But to tell us a little bit about taxes and what you've heard the other candidates say, in your stance compared to the other candidates in this race.
Well, I'm giving you facts, okay? This is not just my opinions. I'm giving you facts. Everything I've stated on these shows, and my mail-outs, and my business career, and comparisons with, Mr. Gentry and Mr. Thrasher, it's facts. I want people to there is a difference. There is a difference in those three, and I try to express that to people. There is a huge difference. And I wouldn't be running if I didn't think I could be the good Nelson County judge. And I think anybody knows me, I got a work ethic that, whatever it takes, I get it done. So when I say taxes, Jim, Mr. Thrasher, he came out, several months ago, and it's a very popular thing when people come out as elected officials. I'm going to cut taxes, cut taxes, cut taxes. Well, I think it's been proven at the PLG debate, and since then, some other things about the funding, and then you've got the inflation going out of control, and gas prices going through the roof, So I don't think, and like I said before, I think that there's some probably little waste that you can find in any department. I think there's what you say, a little fat in each department. You can go in with new ideas and business mind like I've got, and probably do some consolidations and move things around and probably save a little money. And I'm not criticizing anybody else. When you get in new ideas, new blood, that's usually what happens, and I think I can do that. But Mr. Thrasher says he's going to cut taxes, and I asked him on the debate, I said, I said, where are you going to cut them at? Are you going to defund the police?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to eliminate some of the ambulances? Because, they need more help, they need more ambulances, and they need more police right now. So you talk about hundreds of thousands of dollars, so I just don't see where you can do it. So he says he wants to cut taxes, and I think he got proven that our tax rate that the fiscal court gets, not the school boards get,
right,
is about the third or fourth. It's below 50% of the top surrounding 10 counties. We make 3 or 4. So it's easy, it's a popular thing to say to try to get votes, but I think the Republican voters out there are smarter than that, and my 17-year record proves that I kept taxes. I went against what I say the elite a little bit there 3 or 4 times, and I had the court go with me and kept the taxes as low as we could possibly go. And then we could raise them and provide a lot more stuff for the county, but I think most people do not want their taxes raised unless you just absolutely have to cut ambulances or whatever. So I'm on record, and I've got a proven record against that. Well, Don, he said that in his debate, they talk about the recreation, building the indoor aquatic center, and he went on record and said, the county could sell some industrial bonds or bond out about $5 million. I forget exact quote, but he said we'd have to raise taxes to do this. Now, I've played that thing back several times, and when I look at it and play it and play it and play it, and other people has, it sounds to me like he's in favor of the county going in a $5 million debt with industrial revenue bonds and raising taxes to pay for this aquatic center.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the tape?
I don't have the cut.
You don't have the cut, okay.
No, not on that.
Well, I mean, that's what he said, and I mean, it's people can go back and look at the PLG debate, and they can go on the look at my ads. It's on there. I mean, what I'm telling you is a fact. It was his quote. He's got to live with it. He owns it. So that's where I'm at.
All right. But taxes, and I think Don also references taxes raised by school board and library. Nelson Fiscal Court and the Judge Executive really have no control, really, there.
There was a bill passed, and I haven't talked to Jimmy Higdon or Chad at length about this. There was a new bill passed in the state.
Right.
Apparently, that's the library taxes apparently are an issue
elsewhere
all over the state. There's 120 counties. I think like Jefferson County does not have a library tax. Some of the bigger cities do not, or bigger counties. But I would agree with Don Thrasher saying that I think our library taxes is somewhat too high. I think we can go in and definitely make some cuts. The county judge has some authority about appointing the library board.
Right.
I think now with this new law coming up, you're going to have a lot more authority based on what I have read. I don't know the facts of that.
Right.
So I do think there's some room there that could be some cuts. The library is very important because I've talked about this at the PLG debate, and I don't think I haven't had a lot of calls. Some of them said, "Oh, you're going to close the library?"
No.
I said, "No, I'm not going to close the library. I don't have any intention, never said that. I think the library is very important, and this little girl's got a full scholarship. Her mother talked to me. She went to Bethlehem High School, very hard worker. She got a full ride at Princeton College.
Wow.
And her mother's working at the library, and she said without that library, they wouldn't have the means or the resources to provide for her, and she's at Princeton now. She's got that strong work ethic. So it's easy for some people to say, well, we don't need this or we don't need that. So it's a big county, and everybody's got different views and ideas and needs, and I think I've got the authority, not the authority, but I have the means, and I've got it pretty well documented that bringing people together and get these things done. So, I don't want to criticize the library board because when you get volunteers, and there's a bunch of people that talk about getting rid of this and this or that, but getting volunteers to sit on any board is not too easy.
No.
So you try to get the best qualified people that you got, and a lot of the most qualified people are so dang on busy, they don't want to be a part of it. Because you know what happens when you're part of it? You get darts thrown at you all the time. So I would prefer, like me, work with people and sit down and work out deals with them and understand the policies and the taxes and what their needs are instead of criticizing them like Mr. Thrasher does,
Right.
continuously has done with Mitch McConnell, Brett Guthrie, Chad McCoy, and about every other elected official. He says he's a strong Republican, but he's always attacking these guys. And you're not going to bring the money home from the state and federal government when you're up there doing that. You got to be able to work with these people. I don't agree with them all and everything, but I do have a strong background of sitting down and working things out with people, and I think it can be done. I know I can do it. I've done it in the past.
All right. Well, Tim, the other candidate in the race, Bill Gentry, when he was on our radio show, of course, we're always talking about taxes and in reference to the aquatic.
I'll say one more thing before you go there,
sure.
Mr. Thrasher.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't disrespect Don Thrasher, be honest about it. We've texted and talked quite a bit over the last 6 months. I didn't know him at all. And through most of this 6 months or whatever, he has been very cordial to me, and I've been cordial to him, I think. So I'm not criticizing him. I'm just telling you facts. These are facts, and I wish him well. And I have no problem with him. I wish I could go to California a little more often myself, and visit. But it's not about California or any of that. I think I said it earlier. It's about people moving in this county and not being active in the county and not being involved in the county, and then come in and want to run for one of the top offices and try to tell everybody else what to do. That's my stance. I think if you get involved and do some things and learn and get involved, and then we can, that's just my belief. So again, I don't want to say that. I don't have no ill feelings against Don Thrasher at all.
And Tim, I think maybe it's because of we're old enough to remember when Nelson County was much smaller, and you want to know the people that you're voting for. You want to know, even if they're not from here, well, where were you born? Where were you raised?
Yes.
Where'd you go to school? And how'd you wind up here?
I hear it all the time. I ask people why they move here. I said, well, why Nelson County? And they tell me. So why'd you come here? Because, whatever the reasons. I mean, we encourage people to come here and work here and bring businesses here and bring jobs here. I mean, yeah, I'm 100% for that. I got a record to prove that, so go ahead.
Right, and that kind of, I think every voter out there wants to know a little bit, and we saw it last night at that political forum. Yeah. All the candidates gave something about their background. So
yeah, it was pretty good. I think it was a little bit late in the season to have it, but there was a lot of people there that talked. Everybody I think did a pretty good job there, and put some information about what they're for and against and themselves. So yeah, it was good.
Now, Bill Gentry, of course, the other judge executive candidate on the GOP side, talked about taxes, and I think specifically we were talking about a possible aquatic center. And
that's been brought up quite often.
Yeah. Well, it's a popular thing, and
yes,
I think
it is.
And it probably depends on where you're at in the county. Yeah. I think in the city it's maybe more popular than out in the county, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, I think it's a fact, really, because I talk to people all over the county, in the cities and everything, and it's there's a big split there. There's no doubt about it. And it's going to be tough for whoever gets this judge's race and the city mayor and all these different groups to come together to decide how big and what we're going to bring in and what we're going to add, and then we got to get the money without raising taxes and try to pull everybody together, and that's my goal. That's my plan. It's been my plan for some time, and I think I can do that. And the county can participate in it. The city of Bardstown, hopefully the other Bloomfield and New Haven and Fairfields is pretty small, but while you're on that, so I bring that up because in all these different talk shows I've heard. And I've heard Don Thrasher speak and Bill Gentry speak, and I haven't heard, I don't know, maybe not even one time that they brought up these outlying cities. Maybe they have, but I haven't really heard it. And I've been really clear in all of my talks, and I've had around 25 meet and greets in this county in the last 2 months, listening tours and fundraisers, and there's about 25 of those events I've had all over the county, Bloomfield, New Haven, the stores of businesses and my home and everywhere. And I've talked to a lot of people. And we talk about New Haven, Bloomfield, and Fairfield and these outlying counties. Now those people in most of those communities feel like they have been left out by a fiscal court because the city of Bardstown gets basically all the attention and all the plugs. And I guarantee you I'm not going to leave them out. They're a big part of this county, and those residents are a big part of this county, and That's just that's one thing I want to bring up, because these other two candidates haven't hardly ever even discussed about those, So, and the bulk of your voters and things right in the city of Bardstown, I understand that, but I just want to make that clear, because I've been in all those areas a lot.
Well, Tim, you're absolutely right, because the last night's candidate forum, I think several candidates mentioned that they felt like the outlying areas of the county just weren't well represented. Weren't.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to interrupt you. You was going on to about something else, but
that. And I know that regarding taxes, I know that there had been a bill discussed about doing away with the liquor taxes, and the county, between the school systems and governments, the county gets just between $8 and $9 million from that a year, and to pull that money away from just the county government is $1 million something. I think I don't have the details, but that'd be a pretty substantial loss. More so, I guess, for the school systems, but even for county government. And how would you, if your tax base, if your taxes are eroded by $1 million plus, where do you get that money from without raising taxes? And I think Mr. Gentry said that it would be like a 3.5%. That taxes might have to go up 3.5%.
He not only did he say that right here on your radio show, he's been in all of his talks I've heard and his flyers that he's mailed out, that he said he opposes higher taxes. Mr. Gentry, I'm talking about.
Right.
But right here on your radio show, he said that y'all was talking about the bourbon and so on, and he said, quote, that he didn't think the Nelson County folks would jump up and down if we raised taxes on them 3.5%. Now, it may not be letter for letter, word for word, but it's pretty close. And if they go back to look at my Facebook page and some of these ads, it's clear. I got the clear clip that he said it was his quote, his words. Well, I've had a lot of response since Bill said that. He said it and he owns it, and he only switched parties 18 days before he filed for the Republican nomination. And I don't know if in his corporate world, there's a lot of money in the corporate world, and he's a successful, in his business where he was at in the corporate world, and I think he's done a great job in that aspect, but it's a total different animal when you come in trying to run a fiscal court, when you're working out of the county and out of the state and don't have any knowledge of this county and this community and what it takes to run it. So he quoted that he didn't think the Nelson County folks, I think's what he said, would jump up and down if we had to raise taxes on them 3.5%. Well, I think they would jump up and down, scream, holler, yell, and everything else, because that's what I have heard. And I don't think people want to see any more new taxes. So we're going to sit down with the bourbon industry if I'm fortunate enough to win this job. And I think we can be very clear that there needs to be a few adjustments, but that bill definitely has got to be reworked if it comes back up again.
Right.
And these are facts. Again, I'm telling you, every time I tell you, these are facts. And like I said earlier, when people listen to this, if they are listening, there's a big, big difference between me and my two opponents. Just what I'm talking about here tonight. And I got a proven record of that.
All right. And I know I've heard Bill Gentry say that he's ready to, hit the ground running on day one. But he's also been a little contradictory. He'll say, well, he's got a lot to learn. And I can understand that, but I think that it doesn't imply a lot of confidence when you want to hit the ground running, but also you have a lot to learn. I think that's being honest.
Well, again, I think he's probably being honest about it. I think he realizes, and I don't, that's something he'll have to address. But he's, I happened to get a couple of his flyers or whatever, and I think one of them or two of them said there's no time to learn on the job, and it's pretty close to that quote. I don't know exactly what it said, but and then when he was up here on your radio show and he was at the PLG debate, he said it no 3 times that I've heard. He says, I know I have a lot to learn. I know I have a lot to learn. Then he said there's no time to learn on the job. Well, I'm not saying everybody you learn every day. I hope everybody does, and I don't wish no ill on Bill. I think he's a fine person, and I just don't think he's ready for this job. I just think I'm the best candidate, and I've got experience in, him and Don Trzop going around visiting all these different departments. Well, I've been there. I helped create a lot of these departments and been involved in them and know just about everybody working there and helped write the policies and clean up some of the policies and rewrite the policies. And so, there's a whole lot to be said, and it takes time to learn all these things when you get in. I'm going to tell you right now, if either one of these other guys get in, they got a lot to learn. I'm going to tell you right now. There is a lot to learn. So his statement is pretty accurate. But, and I'm not saying I know it all, but I have already learned a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? And then in my business background with dealing with all these people and vendors and then the construction and the sewer and the water and my relationships with, up in Frankfurt, me and Ernie Fletcher was good friends, and you go back to Bevins, and then I go to Representative Ron Lewis in Washington. I mean, a fine fellow, and Dan Kelly, Senator Dan Kelly, Jimmy Higdon, Brett Guthrie. I know all these guys personally and for years, and I've been involved with the Republicans for many years now, and they have helped this county and helped me, and I supported them. I went around with them, talked to them, and I've been to Frankfurt many times. So I mean, you got to have a working relationship with these different individuals, and I'm gonna clear that up. The shift program that Don said, I think I may have brought this up today, he calls it the SHIFT program. It's a state program they adopted a few years ago. And what it does is it's a state highway program. Engineers and some of the state people meet with county people and engineers and county judges and magistrates and so on. They go out and try to identify the needs of the counties. And that's a good program. And Don is correct, that's a good program. But he said, he was very inaccurate, because I talked to Senator Jimmy Higdon about it, and he said, Mr. Thrasher indicated that the engineers would appropriate the money for the counties. And when he said that statement, because they wouldn't let us do any rebuttals, you have to have relationships with the elected officials in those positions, because they're the ones that finally sign off and say where the money's going to go.
Right.
The legislatures are the ones that actually sign off the money. The governor even has less power to do that than what most people think. So the reason I bring that up is because he indicated that the local judge, the way I understood him to say, it won't have any influence on bringing any money to the county. Well, if that's the case, what's the sense in driving to Frankfurt and talking to these guys all the time? Mr. Higdon reiterated, he said, Senator Higdon said that is definitely 100% inaccurate. Quote from him. Again, these are facts. These are not just rumors. These are facts. So you have to have good relationships, and I said this many times. I think our county has been left out for various reasons because of the conflicts and the controversies and things, and all you got to do is go to the surrounding counties and cities and see what they're getting, and this county has not been getting in the last several years. So I want to clear that up also, because I'm ready to go from day one. Right,
and I think you've seen a lot, and you've gotten a lot done during your 17 years as a magistrate.
Yeah,
and
yes.
that's experience money can't buy.
Yeah.
So that's proof. Proof is in the pudding.
Well, I appreciate that, and I feel like I've got a good. I feel if I get defeated, I get defeated, but I wouldn't change anything. What I'm doing, we've had a very good, strong, what I call a popular, good message, and we have not got in the mud on anything. I haven't got into personal issues about anybody. It's all factual. They can say what they want, claim to fame. Going back to Trzop about what he tried to say today is muddy the water, and he was up here for Mr. Thrasher trying to, do all that, and that's their background. They've got a background of doing that and getting people stirred up in controversies all the time. And so I think, Don lost 3 elections, and Trzop lost 2, and I've won 4 and lost 2, so I'm up 4-2 right now. And you can't be controversial and confrontational and always going after people all the time. You just sit down and work out deals with them and agreements. And if you do disagree, Hey, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. Everybody's got different opinions on things. And
Right.
if you think you're the one that's going to be right all the time, well, you're not going to get anything done because you're not a one-man show. And I say you're going to have other members on that court. You may have some women on that court this time. And, I've employed hundreds of people, a lot of women, a lot of older people, younger people. I mean, I've got a good mix. So, it's not a one-man show. You've got to get up there and work with these magistrates and all these elected officials and the department heads and to get things done. And again, I'm not bragging by no means, but I got a proven record of that, and these other two guys cannot say that. So there is a difference. I'm going to tell you, there's a big difference. I want people to really look at it and get out and vote. We need a big turnout in order for me to win, because we are in a three-way race. But I want everybody to get out, and I want to thank you and everybody else that has helped me do some of these advertisements and so on.
All right. Well, Tim, we're going to wrap it up. The preceding program was a paid political broadcast paid for by Tim Hutchins, for Nelson County Judge Executive. To learn more about Tim's campaign, go to votetimhutchins.com. Thanks for listening.